Hey, what's up? I'm here with Diamond Rings. We got John O. Of Diamond Rings. I guess you are Diamond Rings. How's it going?
All in one.
Yeah.
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for coming in.
No problem.
I guess first question would be, is it harder being a solo artist than performing with a band?
It's different. I think certain aspects are harder. Getting up there and kind of mustering the courage to just put it all on the line by yourself definitely was an adjustment for me.
Yeah.
Being used to performing with a band, but in some ways, you know, getting around, figuring out where I want to go have dinner, you know, just hanging out at the show, it's a lot less to deal with. You know, I don't have to lug a heavy bass cab around or help carry anyone's drums. You know, I really try to keep it minimal and stay light so I can, you know, spend my time exploring when I go to new cities and meet new people. So in that sense, it's really liberating.
That's gotta be pretty cool, because I guess most touring bands, they sort of get stuck in that rut where they go to a new city and then they just don't.
Yeah, for sure,
out, you know?
for sure. And you know, everyone wants to do something else, and no one knows where to go. Like we just got back from New York, and I was just, you know, taking the subway to a lot of my shows, and you know, that's super fun. It's not always going to be like that, obviously, but now that they've got the new record out, you know, just carrying vinyls around kind of makes that impossible. Stuff's heavy, but but it's great. You know, I love both, and I'm really excited that people are into what I'm doing as Diamond Rings right now.
So why did you decide to, you know, do a solo record? Yeah.
I just finished art school and had extra time. You know, I decided after finishing up that as much as I loved, you know, working with the hands and being active as an artist, I was kind of more into music. I think that it's just such a great way to connect with people and you know, get a message out there. So I kind of just devoted all that time that I was spending on schoolwork to writing, you know, writing new songs and just not really thinking about where they were going to go or how they're going to end up. And before I knew it, I kind of had this collection and this sort of desire to present them in a way that was unique and different. I wanted to do something that I hadn't seen before and see what Toronto thought of that. And since then, you know, the response has been positive, so I just kept doing it, kept plugging away and working at it.
Yeah, we got special affections.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, now it's done. It's exciting.
How does it feel to have the record out?
It's awesome. I mean, it's great to have it just finally fully exist and be out in the world and not have to think about it and worry about it anymore. You know, it's like, okay, well now we're, you know, this is the final mix and now we're gonna master it and then now we're gonna listen to the test press, and there's just all these different steps along the way where, you know, at least for me, just got so kind of almost over-involved in it, just like nitpicking, and it's just nice to be able to have it exist and have people listen to it and just enjoy it for what it is and start, you know, working on, you know, new material and also just concentrate on playing some great live shows.
So are you like a perfectionist then, I guess?
Yeah, and I think anyone, you know, any artist, any musician, it's impossible not to just get kind of like sucked in. You know, you work on something and it becomes so close to you that it starts to, you know, live this life of its own. And it's about striking that balance between letting things breathe and just be what they are naturally, but then also knowing when it's time to go back in and really revisit something and make it better or make it more to your taste. So.
All your songs, that was like the first, I guess, thing people heard, and it really of got hyped up, and you know, Pitchfork and everybody jumped on it.
Yeah.
Now, was that song written before a lot of the other stuff?
Yeah, it's one of the first that I wrote. Again, throughout that process, I just moved to Toronto. I just finished up my arts degree and was just looking to just try to be creative and not really self-edit too much, just let things go and let things come out. And that was one of the first things that came out, both like figuratively and literally. And made the video super, you know, low budget in my living room. And I think there's something to that really captured people's imagination, this idea that, you know, it's 2010 now, you can make a video with a handy cam and put it on YouTube. And it's not necessarily about, you know, how much your camera cost or your lighting rig or the quality of this or that. It's just about the idea and how creative it is and whether it's bringing something new and exciting out into the world.
No, I mean, it's a pretty catchy tune though. So I mean, did you know, like, as you were writing it, like, wow, this is gonna connect with a lot of people? Do you know what I mean?
I think like there was always, you know, the hope that would kind of be the case. That's always, I think, as an artist, you have to strive for that. That's the hardest part about making music or making art, is that you know, you're working and working and working away, just hoping that eventually someone's going to find out about what you do and admire it and appreciate it. And that can be one of the hardest things to get over, because oftentimes you're creating and you're not really sure how it's gonna end up, where it's gonna go. But yeah, for sure, that's always the intention that I bring every time I sit down to write or think about video concepts. It's, you know.
Did you know that one, like, in particular was special, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, I filmed it with my roommate Colin, who's a great videographer, and since then, you know, he's had a hand in a lot of my work, and he's starting to do work for other bands, and the both of us, we kind of had this mutual love of just like green screen, and it's kind of like we wanted the video to look like something that we would have taped off Much Music, like coming home from school in like grade 6 or something, you know, and like you go into your parents' attic and you find this cassette in there and you put it in and you're like, what is this, you know, to kind of like going back to that era that we remember growing up watching videos on TV, and that just kind of all played into it. It was just us like having fun, and I think just something about that really kind of like struck the right chord with people. We were just trying to like do something weird for our friends, though. Really, you know, that's all. Just like, I hope my friends like it. That was it.
Well, it seems like it was a pretty fun video.
Yeah, I think that comes through, and I think that comes through in a lot of the videos. It's just that like we're having fun making them. It's, you know, my friends are in them. They help me put them together. It's not just some union crew who's piecing out at 5 p.m. when their shift is over, you know, or being like, "Where's my overtime?" Like everyone's putting in overtime because everyone is fully invested in it, and that's great. And I'm just fortunate that I have friends that are, you know, A, so talented, and B, like believe in what I'm doing. I believe in what they're doing, and I think it works to everyone's benefit that way, you know?
Now, talk about Toronto. I mean, you've already mentioned it once, but I mean, in the video, the CN Tower's there.
Yeah.
Which I was like, yeah. And then inside the CD, you have, there's a picture of an old school Blue Jays hat, which is awesome. So, are you just like a super fan of Toronto, or do you feel a connection there? Did it affect the music?
I do, for sure. This whole album is about me kind of coming to terms with moving to the city. I grew up in Oshawa, and I went to university in Guelph, so I'd kind of spent my whole life sort of kind of like messing around in the outskirts of, you know, this big place. But yeah, I grew up with the Toronto Star coming to my house every morning, you know, reading about the Maple Leafs or the Jays or whoever else, and seeing the CN Tower, and, you know, on a clear day you can kind of see it from the country where I grew up in. It's always been more like a symbol, or this idea of you know, this place that I wanted to be, like that if I could somehow like make it here and carve out like a space for myself, like that I'd meet people who understood me and kind of understood where I was coming from. And most of the record kind of deals with that process, that transition into just finding your way. And I feel like so many people can relate to that live here, and so many people that live in Toronto weren't born here, you know, and that's kind of like the feeling I was trying to tap into. So all that imagery to me is just a way to bring people like kind of into my world. Like someone, say, you know, in Idaho or like Texas or Japan, whoever's watching the video, they don't maybe know what Toronto is, but they can recognize like the Blue Jays or the Sky Dome, and that means like something. It's at least a symbol of where I come from.
ExploreMusic wears English Laundry apparel.